China practiced unequal policies to achieve equality. So many people blame the Chinese government for everything. If it's so aggressive and evil, why hasn't it fought a war in nearly 50 years? Meanwhile, how many wars have the US and Europe started? Think about it. A government that avoids wars for half a century looks more peace-loving than the West. Don't you think so? And think about this. If China's government is truly bad, isn't that good for other countries? Means less competition, right? If it is responsible to its own people, the Chinese people would overthrow it themselves. After all, over 90% of Chinese people support their government today, and those people really think they are smarter than 1.4 billion Chinese combined. Chinese people are not submissive. For over 2,000 years, uprisings have overthrown dynasties again and again. If they were unhappy, they would protest, riot, or stage a coup. So don't underestimate that. Ironically, the policies that many Chinese complain about are the very ones Westerners should admire, especially the United States. For decades, China practiced unequal policies to achieve equality. I know it sounds weird, but let me give some examples. Minority students got bonus points on college entrance exams. Minority families could have 2 or even 3 children, while Han Chinese were restricted to 1. From 1980 to 2016, China enacted one-child policy, which also been accused by the West. This policy went on for 36 years, until everyone was finally allowed to have as many children as they want now. Why? Because minorities were fewer, lived in poorer, remote areas, and lacked education resources. Now the question is, would the United States ever dare to use unequal racial policies to solve racism? I believe it's impossible. Why? Because voters are mostly white currently, and no white majority electorate would give up its own interests for minorities. Any politician who tried would be out of office immediately, but most likely they won't have the chance to take the office. China could do it because its government is big, centralized, which has been criticized a lot by the West, and it's willing to sacrifice the short-term interests of 98% of its population, which is a high majority, for long-term equality. That's why racial equality is more achievable in China than in a liberal democracy like the United States. And in the United States, who would dare to do that? Who could wait decades for results that don't win votes? So before blaming Chinese government for everything, maybe ask which country actually has the capacity to solve deeper social problems, and which one only talks about it. Everybody knows the racial inequality last 250 years still remain unsolved. And Americans are still suffer, not just the past and now, so does the future. Follow me, Eastern Perspective, to see the world.